They say the heart of a mother never truly rests, and on quiet nights, if you listen closely, you might hear the ancient footsteps of Demeter, wandering softly across the earth, seeking the daughter she loves more than the world itself. Imagine for a moment a world drowsy with golden sunlight, where fields stretch as far as the eye can see, and wheat sways like a gentle sea. Here, Demeter, goddess of grain and growth, tended every green thing with patient hands. Flowers would bloom beneath her touch. Leaves unfurl to greet the sun simply because she willed it so. This was a time when harmony lingered in the warm air, and every living creature felt the earth's gentle pulse. But for Demeter, the joy of each harvest and every blossom was made sweeter by Persephone. Her radiance, her laughter, the bond they shared. Persephone's spirit was as wild and bright as the morning, dancing through meadows, weaving garlands, and bringing laughter to her mother's side. And yet, one day, that laughter vanished. The earth fell strangely quiet when Persephone disappeared. Demeter's world, once warm and full, echoed with an aching emptiness. The wind carried whispers, but no answers. The rivers seemed to have swallowed their secrets. It was as though the whole world paused, holding its breath, as Demeter searched for a trace of her child. Demeter wandered far and wide, her feet stirring dust on familiar paths, her eyes straining for any flicker of Persephone's presence. She looked in every thicket, called into every grove, listened at every burbling brook. Seasons began to ripple and stall, fields lying fallow, as the goddess's sorrow seeped into the soil. In her search, Demeter met kind souls and silent stones, heard stories from the roots and the wind, begged the sun and the stars for just a whisper of hope. Even as time stretched and the world chilled in the absence of her cheer, Demeter held hope close to her heart. She remembered the way Persephone would twine daisy chains, the feel of her hand, the warmth in her smile. At each turn, Demeter's longing grew. It was a longing that overfilled her heart, spilling out into clouds, into rain, into the hush of snow falling over empty fields. Crops would not grow. Blossoms would not open. As the land grew cold and hunger crept near, mortals and immortals alike began to fear the quiet might never lift. Yet as Demeter pressed onward, through valleys teeming with echoes, along rivers that shimmered with memories, she carried with her the comfort of their bond. She sang old lullabies to the earth, hoping Persephone might hear. She weaved hope and love into the very air. Not once did Demeter forget to notice the beauty along her path. A single wildflower, brave enough to bloom in the cold. The soft hum of bees sheltering below the frost. Each tiny resilience reminded her of Persephone's spirit, how even in darkness, a spark of life remains. Stories say that during her search, Demeter learned the pain of loss, but she also found in this gentle sorrow a strength and grace unique to those who love deeply. She came to understand the silent strength of the earth, bearing beneath the surface seeds waiting for spring. Finally, moved by the longing of both goddess and mortal, the world itself began to yield its secrets. Hidden voices murmured of Persephone's path, her descent, her journey, her own new strength. Light glimmered at the edge of Demeter's grief, like the first gold of dawn after a long night. And so, in her search, Demeter did not find despair, but a quiet patience. She whispered to the sleeping fields, urging them gently to wait and to trust. Just as life returns with each spring, so too would Persephone find her way. The story reminds us that in longing, there is love. In patience, there is hope. And even when the world seems paused in silence, warmth waits beneath the surface, ready to rise again. In ancient words, we find comfort, a mother's gentle passage across the quiet earth, a promise stitched among roots and rivers. Now, as you sit with this story, let it wrap around you like a soft blanket. No matter how cold or quiet the world becomes, remember the gentle wandering of Demeter and the certainty that even in waiting, there is warmth. Soon, the seasons will turn. Persephone's laughter will return like sunlight, and in the meantime, the earth continues to dream, cradled in a mother's endless care. Rest here with that peace. Let the story of Demeter's passage settle like evening light, soft, steady, and sure.